Back here on HQ Spotlight, the AFC South. Once upon a time, we called this a very winnable division, but I mean, C.J. Stroud, D'Amico Ryans, they've been very, very competitive, and they're trying to get back to the playoffs once again. They did the last 2 seasons, and there's a lot of a new O-line, a new OC, but hoping to be the AFC South champs, or the AFC champs once again. Let's welcome back Mike and Brock for an AFC South preview. We're talking about players to watch in the division. We're going to go team by team, starting with the defending AFC South champs. So, Mike, who are you keeping your eye on for the Texans? And I kind of alluded to it with this new O-line that needs to protect C.J. Stroud so he doesn't get sacked 50-plus times.
Yeah, I'm watching pretty much every guy along that offensive line, right? Because they need to get better than they were last year. But specifically, I'm looking at Blake Fisher because he's stepping into the right tackle role there. That's right in the eyes of quarterback C.J. Stroud, and he needs to be solid. In year 2, he was a second-round pick. He was a guy that kind of everyone had the same take on. He was a high-end athlete at Notre Dame, was actually a freshman starter at left tackle over Joe Alt in the same class there, but got hurt as a freshman. Never really developed into what he could have been, but still a freak athlete. Came in down the stretch last year, 18 pressures on 219 pass blocking snaps. Not great. He's only 22 years old. He is the youngest guy on this offensive line right now. And if he continues to develop, he could be the stalwart there on the right side. So he's the one I'm watching. But if he doesn't, things could be rough out there in Houston.
Well, if Mike's going offense, I'll take it to the defensive side of the ball. Cornerback Arthur Millette, kind of a journeyman, his 6th team in his 9th season. But here's why he is key. Right now, he's listed as the backup nickel behind Jalen Petrie. But this defense is going to look for him to be depth at cornerback, because if there is any weakness to this defense, it is the cornerback depth. Of course, you have Derek Stingley Jr., one of the best cornerbacks on one side. You have Kamari Lassiter coming off a great rookie year on the other side. But that's about it. They signed Ronald Darby, who almost immediately retired and called it a career, and they don't really have anyone else with significant experience. Now, while Arthur Millette was coming off an injury-plagued year in Baltimore the year prior, 2023, he played some very key snaps in some very big games for Baltimore. Keep an eye on him.
All right, let's go to Duval because they have the second best odds to win the division here. We know Trevor Lawrence has weapons, some old, some very, very new. We're going to talk more about Travis Hunter in just a moment. But we are looking at another player here, Mike, that we need to hone in on in Duval County.
Yeah, the weapons are why I'm so excited about the Jaguars, because everyone knows about BTJ. Everyone knows about Travis Hunter. Not a lot of people know about Brenton Strange at tight end, and I think he could play a big role in this offense. You look at what Liam Cohen did last year in Tampa Bay, and how much of that offense from midseason on went through Cade Otton. You know, when injury struck at wide receiver, they had, Cade Otton went over 100 yards in some games. He had like 3 straight games with over 10 targets. That very easily could be Brenton Strange in this offense, because not only did he produce last year when called upon in what was obviously not necessarily as friendly a tight end offense, he looked really good after the catch. 9 broken tackles. That was 9th among tight ends. And again, this guy was a backup for most of the season, but a former second rounder. I'm very excited for him to get his shot, because I think he could be as good, if not better, than Evan Ingram was in that offense.
I'm sticking with offense. I'm going with slot wide receiver Dyami Brown. Now, the stock right now is low on him because, Washington got rid of him. They replaced him with Deebo Samuel. He only landed a 1-year deal. This is a sleeping Giants, and Liam Cohen knew exactly what he was doing. Dyami Brown is a versatile weapon. He can take handoffs, he can catch the ball, he can line up anywhere on the field. He even has plenty pass attempts over his career. His most recent season in Washington, he almost doubled any stat from any previous year. He can do everything, and he will be probably the most forgotten offensive weapon coming off of the Travis Hunter hype. Brenton Strange is going to have a monster, just like Mike said, and of course you have Brian Thompson Jr. He will be a monster. Dyami Brown, buy all the stock you can. He can do everything on the offensive side of the football.
Yeah, our guy Pete Prisco, who is, of course, as we know, the mayor of Jacksonville, he's very high on Dyami Brown as well, Brock. So some of the big news, or the biggest news, I should say, coming out of camp over the last 24 hours or so from Jacksonville is in their first depth chart of the season. The Jags are listing Travis Hunter as their starting wide receiver and a second-string corner. We know based off of, what he's talked about at camp, his one-on-ones with us here at CBS Sports, that he wants to play as many snaps as possible. No one can do it. He has the mindset for it. But Brock, what's your takeaway here based off of this first depth chart that Jacksonville has released?
I was surprised, but I don't see this as an indictment on Travis Hunter's ability, him not starting on defense. I see this as this new organization, this new coaching staff saying, hey, we need all the help we can on the offensive side of the ball. All right, now what does defense look like for Travis Hunter? He won't play every snap. I see him coming out on every third down. Every single one, because it's simple. Hey, guard that guy. It's man. Hey, you're blitzing. Hey, you don't have to play nickel. Bump outside. They're not going to run the ball at you. We'll let some of the guys who play every snap worry about nickel and tight ends and pulling tackles and stuff like that. They're going to ease him in. He will get a starter's worth of snaps on the defensive side of the football by the back half of the season. But this is the right idea. They need more help on offense and ease him in defensively.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, Brock, on his usage. And this is always actually what I saw happening, because you don't trade up what they gave up for a cornerback. You know, if you're going to start him primarily at cornerback, you just don't. It's not as valuable a position as wide receiver in today's NFL, and that doesn't get paid nearly as high as wide receiver does in today's NFL. So you are always trading up to have him be a weapon in this offense. And that's primarily where I think, you know, if you just look at guys making an impact coming out of college, who are the players, what's the position that you can make an immediate impact at, it's wide receiver. So that's where I fully expect most of his attention to be. And like Brock said, it'll be easy if it's just third downs, if it's just red zone or things of that nature, instead of having to learn having to be up to speed in the entire playbook at the cornerback position.
Yeah, it's crazy. There's videos out of camp of him, you know, changing positions like mid-practice, something that we've never seen before, right? Let's go to the Colts, where there's a quarterback battle, if you will. We know it's like AR and Daniel Jones listed as co-starters on the depth chart here, but we're not looking at the quarterbacks here, Mike.
No, I honestly don't want to look at the quarterbacks. I'd like if we could just not watch them whatsoever, given what they got there. But I'm looking at Adonai Mitchell. I can't talk about the Colts this year without talking about this guy, because what I saw from tape on him as a rookie was unique. I mean, in terms of what this guy can do physically, I could probably count on one hand guys who have comparable specimens across the NFL at the receiver position. He has mid 4.3 speed with 210 plus pound size, and he can really get off the line of scrimmage and go. I mean, his separation score by different outlets that chart that, Fantasy Points, the one I'm referring to, was top 3 in the NFL. His target share last year, in terms of when he was on the football field, how often was he targeted, was higher than Justin Jefferson. It was top 15 in the NFL. This guy is a unique athlete that just is rough around the edges right now. He's inconsistent, but he is easily the most talented wide receiver on this Colts roster. If they could just get him more consistent, eliminate the drops we saw last year, he could be a big help to whoever wins that starting job at QB.
Love that pick, Mike. I'm going to take it to the defensive side of the ball, because I don't know the last time I was this excited about a 7th-round pick. Strong safety Hunter Wohler out of Wisconsin. Right now he's listed as a backup. You have the all-star Nick Cross ahead of him. Cam Bynum's at the free safety spot. I see Hunter Wohler trying out for that 3rd safety position where all 3 of them can be on the field at the same time. This most recent year at Wisconsin, kind of banged up, but the year prior, fully healthy, played everywhere. Free safety, strong safety, outside linebacker, nickel, 120 tackles, 2 interceptions. And when you look at the Colts, their biggest weakness is this linebacker room. They are suspect at best, and that is putting it respectfully. I see a Patrick Chung situation where Hunter Wohler can help in the run game, but not be a liability against a tight end or a slot wide receiver. Keep your eyes on him.
All right, gentlemen, we have made it to the long shot in the division. That is the Tennessee Titans. And the casual football fan, everybody is going to be looking at Cam Ward, of course, the former #1 overall pick. But, Mike, who else is catching your eye?
Yeah, I mean, truthfully, there's not too many people you're super excited for in this Titans roster. That's why they're the #1 overall pick. But Tavondre Sweat's one of them. The Texas defensive tackle, because, one, he was so good as a rookie. Their 2nd-rounder last year. He had 20 defensive stops again in the running game. That was 22nd among DTs in the NFL. And DT notoriously a difficult position to translate early on to producing at the NFL level. But the other thing with him has just been the weight. At Texas, it would go up, it would go down. At the combine, this guy was 362 pounds. When he is locked in and light, this guy can be a dominant nose tackle in the NFL. He can be a Linval Joseph type where every single play, you got to worry about this guy. But if he gets up there, if that weight balloons, if he touches closer to a 4 than a 3, we're in trouble as a Titans fan. So that's who you got to be locked in on to be a game changer up front.
Looking at rookie safety Kevin Winston Jr. out of Penn State, and a lot of people are still asking, why is he drafted in the 3rd round again? Played sparingly as a freshman, a lot of production as a sophomore. Last year in his junior year and his last year in college, he got hurt a couple plays into the 2nd game of the season, and that was the last we saw of him. See this like an NBA draft pick. It's all about projection. He played safety at Penn State. The track record speaks for itself. He can line up anywhere, and you know he is going to make an impact. Now, he is behind Xavier Woods, who is a very good safety, who does not need to play a lot in the preseason. So expect to see Kevin Winston Jr. coming off of an ACL, but he's already flying around out there in practice. Cannot wait to see him. He will be an absolute asset if he can prove himself.
That's what we love about the preseason, right? We get to see guys like that get some reps and get out there. Mike, Brock, we certainly appreciate it. Giving us players to watch for every single team in the AFC South. Getting a look at some of the upcoming preseason games. On Thursday, the Colts in action against the Ravens, the Texans on Saturday, and the Jags and the Titans taking on the Bucks at 7:30 Eastern. All right, the AFC South conversation continues. We are talking about stages of elimination for each team. Just how far can they go and where you can find some value on that. That's coming up on the other side. Back here on HQ Spotlight, the AFC South talk continues, and you're looking at the odds to win the division. The Texans, they are the favorites to win it. CJ Stroud, DeMeco Ryans, only the third head coach and QB duo to get to the playoffs in their first 2 seasons. They're going to try to run it back. The Jags, the next best odds at 3-1. They get a new head coach in Liam Cohen trying to turn things around there. The Colts at plus 320, and then the Titans, who are the long shot in the division, at 7-1. So let's welcome in Mackenzie Brooks. It's been a minute.
I know.
Good to have you in
even remember
studio.
the last time I was in here.
You got it. We have faith. And we have Emory Hunt, of course, because we are talking about stages of elimination for each team here in the AFC South. So we're going to kind of show you the odds and what they are for them to miss the playoffs all the way through to winning the Super Bowl. And we're starting with the defending AFC South champs. Missed the playoffs plus 115 all the way down 25-1 to win a Super Bowl. But Kenz, you are finding some value in that plus 115.
Yeah. I mean, plus 115 implies around, like 46% chance for that to happen. The Sportsline model, we make it closer to 50 for what that's worth here. But I don't like to make picks based off injury. Really, the only other time I do that is when it's like Joe Burrow and I bet them to miss the playoffs.
Correct.
This team is like, you're relying on Nico and rookies. And Nico's always bound to miss 3 to 4 games. Nick Chubb could rock, or he could get hurt. Tank Dell's hurt. Diggs walks away. So it's like the odds of this team staying healthy enough to be able to be successful through a playoff run or even to make the playoffs, it's just feeling a little too glass half full for me.
Listen, I like them to get to the postseason and also win a game in the first round. So I had them losing in a divisional round. You talked about some of the injury concerns at wide receiver. I totally agree with you, but I love what they went out and got. They got both of the Iowa State guys, Jaden Higgins and Jalen Noel. And as long as you have CJ Stroud, with a great defense, they have a chance. And so for me, this team will be very good on defense. Offensively, we'll see them slowly get better as the season goes on. So by the time we get to week 16, week 17, they'll be playing their best ball going to the postseason. They'll knock out whoever they face, and then they'll subsequently lose to a greater team that's less injury, that has better depth, in the second round.
All right, so Emory's a little glass half full about the Texans. So I'm hoping, Emory, that you can keep this same energy about my Jacksonville Jaguars. I have a feeling you're not. So if we pull up the stage of elimination here, minus 210 to miss the playoffs, to lose in the divisional, plus 750, 22-1 to lose in the AFC Championship, plus 7,000 to win the Super Bowl. I'm personally hammering that because I'm delusional. But Emory, minus 210 to miss the playoffs. That is what you like. What the heck?
That was great value because it was actually minus 7,000 to make you mad in this segment. So I was going to lay the 7,000, but I'm going to lay the 210 because when you think about Jacksonville, I think Trevor Lawrence gets a bad rap. I actually like Trevor Lawrence. I think he's a very good quarterback. We just live in an era now where you either have to win the Super Bowl or you suck. And he's right there in the middle of terms of being a good quarterback. They got a good roster on both sides of the ball. I actually like more of their defense than other people do, especially at the front seven level. But when you combine all of those factors, Jacksonville can have a winning season. But the problem is the AFC itself is so tough, so competitive from east to west that there's only 7 teams that'll get in. But I like Jacksonville to have a winning record, but just be on the outside looking in of the postseason.
Some of us were smart and knew if we would be in fighting distance with Jacqueline
Correct.
today. So I saw that plus 750 to lose in the divisional, and I thought, wow. Talk about value. This is going to make so much sense for me.
Tell me more.
Let me tell you more, Jacqueline. The ceiling of this offense, phenomenal. You can't even put a cap on it, right? I mean, you have BTJ, I think will have a great year. You have Travis Hunter, who's going to make BTJ better because he's going to take some defensive attention off of him. All of the things could work out for you. I mean, they allowed 420 yards on the road last year. Statistically, that'd be impressive to be that bad again. Like you cannot replicate that. You can't. So at some point, something has to give. This is a division with a lot of parity, right? The bottom of this conference in general, you can find a lot of parity. So that plus 750, I'm willing to take it.
Okay. Emory's got the confidence through Zoom, so that's why he's going, like minus 210 to miss the playoffs. But I do like that you're a Trevor Lawrence apologist, because I am as well. I love my guy T-Law, and I have faith, and I know there's a lot of pressure on him, but I think he can do it this season. Let's go to the Colts, because I'll be here all day. And we're talking about their quarterback situation. It's very different. We're seeing, Daniel Jones and AR both listed on the depth chart at quarterback. And there's been a lot of conversation like, hey, the quarterback play just has to be a little bit better when we consider all of the weapons that they have there on offense. To miss the playoffs, minus 230, and then we go all the way down, plus 7,000 to win the Super Bowl. And Ken's, we're kind of leaning towards the minus 230 here. Not even touching like the losing in the wild card at plus 410.
Not even a little bit, Jacqueline. Like minus 230s, but around like 70% chance to miss. We would make this closer to 85%. I mean, if you have co-starters as quarterbacks and one of them's Daniel Jones, you are probably not in a great situation. If you are AR and you're going into year 3 and you are still not an established QB1, we are going to run into trouble. Like, you probably, I know this isn't about fantasy, you can't find a receiver on the Colts that's going to be like a top 30 receiver. They can't pass. They're not going to be able to get them the ball. I mean, literally, I know they drafted tight end wise. If you combine all the production of their tight ends last year, it would rank 30th as a single person in the tight ends in the league. There's a lot of trouble in paradise there, okay? Co-starting quarterbacks with Daniel Jones being one of them. That's where I'm going to rest my case.
Okay.
Listen, I like to read between the lines because I am very highly intelligent, right? When you think about this quarterback, there's no quarterback battle. It's just Daniel Jones there in case AR doesn't stay healthy, because quiet as kept when he's out there, he's 8-7 as a starter. The problem has been him not being able to stay out there. The other thing is the completion percentage. I think that's kind of skewed too. When you look at what he did as a rookie, the play calling was a lot more advantageous to him to have success. It was a lot more balanced, crawl, walk, run. Last year, because he had the wild throw in week 1, a deep ball against the Texans, every pass was a deep shot. Like, no, get him back to crawl, walk, run. And we saw him drop weight this offseason. He looks a lot better during camp. I love when people talk about Daniel Jones' breakout season of 15 American touchdowns in 2023. That's not happening. There's no competition. And if AR is healthy, I know that's a big if, knock on wood, if he stays healthy, this team can not only win enough to get into the postseason, but they can even challenge the Texans, who they always play tough with AR, for the top of the division. I like them losing in the wild card.
All right, so this is why Emory is out on the Jags, because he likes the Colts.
It's coming together.
To potentially challenge the Texans. All right, let's go to the long shot. We're going to the Titans, and we're looking at their stage of elimination. You know you're a long shot when I'm constantly counting the zeros on the graphic to make sure that I have the correct number of zeros in place. Mackenzie, I want to come to you first.
Yeah.
Because it's always like a lot of negative energy around this team, and we maybe have a positive spin a bit.
I see another pretty plus 700 there, Jacqueline. Again, in a division with a lot of parity, like, I'd rather take some of these long shots than the Houston Texans here. And for what it's worth, we saw Jaden Daniels year 1 make it to the playoffs. We saw CJ Stroud year 1 make it to the playoffs. Like, it's not a crazy scenario to think that a rookie, a top caliber rookie, could take a team on a run. So any other division, we're not having this conversation. But having a rookie star like that, high ceiling, plus 700 sprinkle. Sue me.
Okay.
Listen, I trust Cam Ward. What I don't trust is the Titans' pass rush. They still have to find a guy outside of Jeffrey Simmons to make that happen. Until that shows itself, I just can't trust him to get higher than fourth place in this division.
All right, Emory, we appreciate it. Ken's, as we go through the stages of elimination for all the teams in the AFC South, and I'm going to remember that Emory
Take
Hunt
notes.
was out on the Jaguars here on August 5th.
What a loser.
I'm going to write it down in my notes, Emory Hunt. I'm going to do it. All right, for more winning picks, make sure you check out The Early Edge, a daily sportsline betting podcast. Mackenzie is on there, always giving out bets. And you can download, follow, listen wherever you listen to your favorite pods, or make it easy. Watch right now and scan that QR code on your screen.